A video take you to understand the evolution of Yuandao people. Dating back 4.40 million years, this is the first human being to appear on Earth. It is also our common ancestor. They are just learning to walk now. So it also has a brand new name. That's 10 sets of geography. This guy is around 120 centimeters, although relatively short. But the limbs are ridiculously long, and it has a very peculiar appearance. And his pair of jade clan with nowhere to put. It's almost like a palm. This is what's happening. It's because of 10. I spend most of my time in trees. In addition, the shape of this very different from monkeys. Take chimpanzees today. His pelvis is relatively long. Modern humans have a wider pelvis. This is for support when standing up, downwardly displaced internal organs. And the pelvis of the progenitor emperor garden is closer to us humans.
This guy is walking onto feet.
It's not what we used to think. The Tourist walk starts from the grassland. However, at this time on land, ruled by some prehistoric behemoths, makes the ancestor emperor garden not very good. They spend most of their time in trees. After all, if you want to avoid the hands of those predators, the way to survive is to survive. However, there are always a few great minds in each group, although the current teacher is very severe. But there were some very audacious progenitors, risking his life to come down from the tree, go in search of food. Although, at this moment, the 10 groups of floor workers, but this area is frequented by wild animals, so every step requires extra care. After all, they had no fighting power at this time. Guy looking around. After confirming that there is no danger, just walk away with confidence. It didn't take long. He stopped under a big tree. The target is these sweet and delicious fruits. However, compared to monkeys, it seems that our ancestors were not very adept at climbing trees. Complete the transportation process with your own hands. Leave the way you walk from here. It can also be seen, the ancestral messenger wasn't very nimble, a little bit sluggish, and in this case. So how did they survive? In fact, all of this is related to the ecological environment
Caused by crustal movement.
With the sudden rise of the cold, the place where the ancestors lived was torn apart. Mountains are formed by the raised earth, became a natural barrier to the world. Maybe it's because of the mountains, so the climate on the other side also starts to change. As a result, the area of forest is decreasing. Resources have also become very scarce, and most of the animals that used to live here can't adapt to this environment, driven by the vagaries of nature. The original ancestors of the Emperor Yuan became the final winners.
Fang-shipped food.
This sudden crustal movement let the ancestral source win the competition for survival. It is from this moment on our ancestors begins to bring habitat to the surface. Therefore, significant changes have taken place that affect humans. They are now human beings with families. According to the latest research findings, male canines are not just a status symbol. It's an important weapon in the battle for mates. This phenomenon, we see it today in chimpanzees as well. And the canine teeth are completely geographical.
Prove that between them,
no such thing as a fight for a wife. So in their group, both men and women, in pairs, also known as monogamy. Because in the age of such behemoths, survive, then helping each other is essential. And this situation is also conducive to the continuation of the incense. One of the reasons for this prosperity, after evolving into humans with families, many branches soon developed. When the time came 3.70 million years ago, species of humans have mysteriously gone. In the end, only half of southern ancient plains.
However, due to the harsh ecological environment at this time,
in order to survive well. Therefore, the ancient members of a fanon formed a pang.
They bring families together,
living together, in order to further develop their own race. Our ancestors slowly evolved into humans with companions. After all, there are many people and power. It was due to the lack of food resources at that time.
Often hungry for 9 meals in 3 days.
But they didn't sit still, but actively respond to various difficulties. Although I can only eat some grass root bark occasionally prey on small bugs, they seem content. You can live in the age of such behemoths. It's very conspicuous for such a large group to go out. Very easy to be targeted by some. Just as the ancient plains of southern Afar were happily eating, the nearby grass suddenly made a sound. It seems that our ancestors also noticed something strange. Of 12 points. Misfortune is misfortune.
They haven't yet realized where the danger is coming from.
Accident. This guy in front of you didn't even see what the attacker looked like. He was shot through his neck on the spot. This sudden scene, to numb the scalp under the rest of the ancient southern plains, partner in trouble. They stood there and watched. It is precisely because of the cowardice of the ancient southern plains, courage to be so reckless, even ignoring the existence of our ancestors, was calmly, leaving with a step of not recognizing 6 relatives. Human ancestors at this time had already formed.
It is still a deterrent to a certain extent.
But for this emergency, and you have no idea how to do it. Just at present, they still belong to the disadvantaged group. And a lesson in too much blood. Some really smart ideas are starting to shift. As time goes by, the ancestors of humans ushered in a huge bifurcation point into 2 species. They are skinny, clever mice, and strong stick people, and chance and gluttony were at the same time coexisted for 600,000 years. Starts to emerge. The Batman is known as the stout Homo erectus, chew with a strong jaw. Hard food, but it was a very powerful race at the time. But later, the Gluttonians are all mysteriously extinct. On the contrary, those weak and clever, but they can win the competition for survival. When the time came to point for a million years ago, now the first person appeared. According to the anthropologist's definition, volume exceeds 500 milliliters. They are capable people. These capable people in front of you, the big wooden stick as a weapon. This is also the experience accumulated in the purpose.
It's also about getting more things.
Look at this wise little eye. You can also know that they are not simple. The werewolf seemed to have discovered something. Then it started to go all the way. It was not far ahead. There are 3 hunting dogs eating the corpse, and the werewolf seemed to have been hungry for days. It has reached the point where it is about to faint from hunger. In addition, there are still many clansmen, so they gathered their courage, slowly approaching the competitor with a big wooden stick in hand. Capable people are also ruthless people. Not much to say.
It scares the hounds into incontinence.
But the hounds weren't going to give up at first. After all, I discovered this food first. Plus, the feast in front of you is so tempting. But capable people have the blessing of black technology in their hands, rashly for a while. This is how the 2 sides start to confront each other. The scene was deadlocked. One of the guys took advantage of the vacuum. I took the opportunity to break off a large piece of meat and speed away.
Seeing that the purpose has been achieved,
And people don't dare to stay too long, so they chose a tactical retreat. After all, these hunting dogs can be quite... If you go your own way, then there is likely to be no return. It is with these bold and careful capable people, crucial step towards human evolution. It is also a major shift in the history of human evolution. Meal home. They immediately carve up the food. However, at this happy moment, a young man may think, others look better. So I just started grabbing too many. The result rolls in the next second. Now, apparently, we have a long history of grumpy humans, just because you're their own. I'm used to you. However, it was this unintentional led them to stumble upon the marrow inside the bone. This is a very precious food. It is also a good source of protein. Raise IQ in humans played a crucial role. This also makes people love this kind of food. It's like discovering a new continent. And in order to better obtain bone marrow nutrition, a guy pick up the ribs, and they're banging on the trunk. And nothing happened. And of course he didn't stop until he got there. Picked up the stone from the side. It started beating like crazy again. I didn't expect to hit a hard bone. Let him do his best. Still useless. Instead, he cut a big hole in his palm. These sharp stones in front of you. The capable man fell into deep thought. And he seemed to have sensed something. This sharp stone can be used as a tool. And in their blood, also flowing with the spirit of continuity, it laid a solid foundation for the rise of the ethnic group. Those with strong jaws, and the gluttonous stick person who can chew anything. Because I can't create and use tools, so it eventually leads to extinction. On the contrary, it is those capable people with fragile jaws, for at least
accidentally invented stone tools.
Was a big reversal. That is, from this moment on, our ancestors became tool-owning humans. When the time came 1.8 million years ago, Homo erectus appeared. Whether they are morphological signs, very similar to modern people in face and appearance. At this moment, the bodies of our ancestors have of hair and has slender dead branches. Some can even grow up to 1.8 meters tall, just as good as me. Although our ancestors have learned to make, men uses tools, but with a smart brain, is the key to survival in this era. One of the most important is dietary changes. The body of Homo erectus underwent a tremendous because this is
Ancestors have started to eat something nutritious.
young, digestible meats, so their intestines start to get shorter. So after this change, energy used for digestion in the past, in turn, it promotes brain development. It makes their brains expand. And that led to an increase in the intelligence of Homo erectus ancestor. It creates a strong dependency. In order to have enough food, Homo erectus completely broke free from the ranks of cannibals, evolving into a predator. Every once in a while, they go hunting in teams.
It was this little animal that stumbled.
Li Mei's little guy at the moment is seriously in. You can't even walk anymore. For Homo erectus, no doubt a good target. So they just follow each other like this, waiting for an opportunity. The animal seems to have noticed something strange. He still used his last breath to escape desperately. Our ancestors saw this and launched a Jedi pursuit. After all, this kind of opportunity is rare. The physical fitness of these Homo erectus was excellent. Gotten far, the small animal's wound worsened. A major mistake occurred when he stood up behind him. Can't run anymore. I can only wait helplessly for the arrival of death. Our ancestors didn't think either. Immediately begins to surround the prey. As the hunters press on, the little guy may know he's in trouble. There is despair in the helpless eyes. And Homo erectus survived for itself, so no mercy. So he took his spear and launched an attack. With the long hair 3 times in a row, the key parts are important. Still dead. Become the preserve of our ancestors. After that, Homo erectus took on a different personality. Because as humans multiply and multiply, they help each other to live well. After all, those prehistoric beasts have always been there at some random time. They're born thinking about other people. It is from this moment on, our ancestors evolved into empathetic humans. You just look at the hopeful little eyes. Can also know their lives have flourished. However, over time, Homo erectus began to travel to the New World. We spread to all parts of Asia, well known as Peking man and Javan man, are biologically descendants of Homo erectus, and always indigenous people who have long lived in native Africa. During this period,
A new human species, the Heidelberger, was born.
They became Neanderthals, those Heidelbergers who stayed in Africa, and eventually evolved into the Homo sapiens we know. When the time came about 200,000 years ago, there are at least 3 kinds of humans in the world that coexist, Homo sapiens. Although there has been unprecedented development in Africa, fortunately, in the end, it attracted because they are facing a new extinction crisis. 190,000 years ago, the temperature of the Earth has dropped sharply at this moment, entered a long ice age. Not so much for the warmer parts of Asia. It didn't endanger the people who lived there. The Neanderthals traveled to Europe because they have already adapted to the severe cold. It can survive well. But those Homo sapiens living in native Africa, desperate situation. This is because the regions near the equator, lying up under the trend of glacial gas, those once lush grasslands, gradually turned into a desert after habitat shrinkage, putting people in danger of extinction. Then came 50,000 years ago. The Neanderthals reached their peak. The Earth is currently in the midst of an ice age. The temperature is as low as -. As a result, food resources are also very scarce at this time.
In order to withstand such a harsh environment,
Very unique evolution. They keep vibrating the muscles. It's generating heat. Gradually evolved a body, powerful muscles, to maintain your body's heat. But this is just one of them. Because it fills the stomach, is the key to survival in this era.
Neanderthals also developed unique hunting patterns.
Although the climate at the moment is unusually cold, in order to survive well, Neanderthals still went out hunting in groups. And their prey, it's this huge, lush rhino. This animal is huge. It has this iconic spike on its head. The combat effectiveness was also one of the best at that time. Haired rhinos are not easy to deal with. This process, the test, the Neanderthal team cooperated. After formulating the combat mission, a warrior who is not afraid of death suddenly, I saw him leap with a spear in his hand, precisely plunged into the body of the spearing rhino. He didn't do much harm. Instead, he was knocked out by the other party. That there are already clansmen leaving.
Then the rest of the companions immediately started to act.
Respect the strength of the long-haired rhino, the bad manners of Neanderthals. The long-haired rhino was obviously completely outraged. rushing towards the wounded Neanderthals. In this moment of life and death, the brave man who was not afraid of death stood up, pick up the spear and strike with precision, fully stab the opponent's key. Apparently, early humans had a very hard time surviving. Haired rhino isn't dead yet. The Neanderthals took up arms decisively, started a crazy mess, until the other party is completely silent. Circle for the hunt. Full stop. However, compared to our ancestors and they have smaller bones throughout their bodies. It is also relatively weak.
There are completely different hunting methods between the two.
Who expanded into Europe because the living environment has changed, so their body, skin, and hair changes have also occurred. So far, awesome power. Some large animals that are not challenged can only prey on some small animals to make a living. Gap between them and the intrepid Neanderthals. It can be said that it is obvious at a glance. 43,000 years ago. Position between the two. Something big has happened. Homo sapiens, who are weak in every way, suddenly change. Became completely different. They were from the beginning. Can only prey on small animals. After continuous iteration on the road, instead, they started to target some large animals that Homo sapiens hunted. There's been a clear division of labor, so the whole hunting process is very tacit. A part of the handler startles the prey. Drive in the direction of your partner, arriving at the predator, and immediately afterwards, they blow the whistle. Companions to prepare it, and it goes on layer by layer. After receiving the signal, those Homo sapiens who are in ambush will suddenly start the final net operation. And it was during this particularly critical period. There was a big tool revolution that had a huge impact on humanity's lives. This thing is called a projector. So let's take a look at this. The power of weapons, we can see clearly. Arm projection alone is not very far away. And after using the blessing of the projector, attack range, it is also easily improved. Even standing at a great distance, you can also capture prey as you wish. It is precisely because of the creation of this
to make up for the lack of strength.
After this, the standard of living of our ancestors been qualitatively improved.
And this generational tool is not just the projector.
The stone tools in chronological order. The workmanship is getting more for their future development.
Had a profound impact.
Instead, it was when these Neanderthals were made. In 250,000 years, hardly anything has changed. We're way behind our human ancestors. So here's the problem. Why is there such a disparity between the two? In fact, from the ruins where we both lived, find the answer. Beneath the cliff tens of thousands of years ago, this has more than 500 square meters. Large space in terms of the number of stone tools and humans. There used to be about 150 humans live together here. Neanderthals, on the other hand, worked as families. Studying their DNA, it was found every Neanderthal is related by blood, although they created it very early. Cross-generational tools. Can't get the tools out there. Homo sapiens in large groups like this, able to use tools well, spread to more and more people. The benefits of this can also improve the tool itself. Its context, inspired by their own wisdom, groups helping each other, has flourished like never before. And it expanded its presence in Europe tremendously. It is precisely because of under severe circumstances, so the Neanderthal area shrank. Small until later. These Neanderthals lived in small groups, unable to get help from peers, isolated. They didn't learn any more advanced hunting techniques, only mindless hand-to-hand combat. Now this is not sustainable, because this method every time their lives. The vast majority of people lose their lives because of it. So at that time,
most people don't make it to age 30.
Plus, the prey will always be on the verge of extinction one day. Enough food in order to maintain their strong body. As a result, their numbers are decreasing. It didn't take long to disappear into the long river of, and since then, only humans have been left on Earth. They are gradually becoming the masters of this planet. Of course, in our modern system, there are also some people who have Neanderthal genes. This is because there has been a union between the two races. At this moment, something strange suddenly came from the woods.
Homo sapiens immediately went to check.
Passing through their territory, there's a little girl in the back. Homo sapiens are also at a loss. However, when the time came for evening, the little girl seems to be lost. Accidentally came to the doorstep of Homo sapiens. Sapiens sees the stranger in front, also startled. And then the grandmother of the tribe steps forward. He thought the little girl meant no harm, and the other party looks very pitiful. So I decided to raise him. As time goes by, The little girl has grown up. They're completely adapted to Homo sapiens. They married Homo sapiens. It is this coincidence. The Neanderthal genes were carried over.